of KRA employees at the Economics Crimes Unit here at the DCI headquarters. Have been there since 7 a.m. What we are being informed by a source inside the DCI, who is also very active in this particular exercise, is that they have actually been detained and no one is being allowed to come out and no one is being allowed also to visit them. We're talking about lawyers and family representatives who also just came and, in solidarity with those who were able to surrender themselves here at this particular moment. We inquire about the exact figure of how many of them have turned up this morning, but we're not being given any information. We are being told it is a closed door session and no one has been asked so far to record a statement, and so they are still under detention. But what we know, according to our sources inside the DCI Economic Crimes Unit, is that some of them were accompanied by family members, with a few lawyers, and others just came by themselves here at the DCI headquarters. And this is after a circular last evening from the Director of Criminal Investigations requiring 48 KRA employees to reach this particular spot, or rather just to surrender themselves. We're talking about senior managers, we're talking about supervisors, as well as junior officers from the Border Control Unit, as well as the Domestic Tax Department at the KRA. What we know is that there's only one officer from the Intelligence and Surveillance Unit at the KRA. Otherwise, the bulk of the suspects who are supposed to come here and surrender themselves come from the Domestic Tax Department. About 32 of them, led by an assistant manager, also have 2 supervisors in this particular group. And so we just keep here, and we just stay here and wait to see what will come out from that particular gate, the main gate at the DCI headquarters, whether those inside will be allowed to walk scot-free, or whether they will be detained further, or whether they will be transferred to other detention points. We're talking about police stations, because actually, ideally, the DCI headquarters does not have police cells, and so we're just waiting for further directions from investigators here, like keeping this as tight as
All right, we apologize for that. Unfortunately, we've lost Seth Olale, who is at the DCI headquarters, currently following up on the particular story on the KRA tax evasion syndicate, where about 48 people were ordered to appear before the DCI headquarters. And of course, that was an order that came from the DCI boss, George Kinoti. We cannot at this point establish the number of those who were summoned inside that particular premises. But of course, we'll be getting more details from Seth later on in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that, the Senate Public Accounts Committee is currently grilling Migori Governor Koth Obado over expenditure for the 2017-2018 financial year. There was a bit of drama earlier as the governor accused the senators of using the committee to harass governors. He also wanted an explanation on oath-taking before the session began. Let's just listen in to what is happening at the committee at this point.
Guided by law, and specifically the Public Finance Management Act. Now, the Public Finance Management Act, if you look at it, I'm sure, Governor, you have looked at it many times, it mentions accounting officers even in counties. Now, I want you, while responding, to look at Section 147 of the Public Finance Management Act, and you will find the responsibilities that are conferred on the accounting officer. First, let us know in your county government who is the accounting officers in respect of matters related to records, finance, who is the responsible person, where does the buck stop. Then when you look at 149, look at subsection 2C, 147. Yes, it's 147 subsection 2C. 147. No, sorry, it's 149. 149, subsection 2C. I can just quickly, an accounting officer is accountable to the county assembly for ensuring that resources of the entity for which the officer is designated are used in the way that is. Then when you go to 2C, ensure that all financial and accounting records that the entity keeps, ensure that all the financial and accounting records that the entity keeps in any form, including in electronic form, are adequately protected and backed up. So whoever that accounting officer is must ensure that there is backup and that they are kept even in electronic form. So who is that accounting officer, and did that accounting officer keep these documents in electronic form and also have a backup? So if that did not exist, you will tell us, and why that accounting officer failed to comply with the decree of the law.
All right, and we'll be joining Kennedy Mureithi for more details on that ongoing grilling of Migori Governor Okoth Obado at the Senate's Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Will be giving us more details. Now, 13 people died on Sunday night in a road crash involving a bus and a trailer at Tula area along the Mwingi-Garissa road. At least 11 people died on the spot after the Wajir-bound Nasib Sacco bus collided with a trailer.
The Wajir-bound Nasib Sacco bus was involved in the collision that occurred a few minutes to midnight on Sunday at Tula area along Mwingi-Garissa road. The entire left side of the bus was torn apart, with some seat visibly destroyed. According to a survivor, the bus driver was trying to overtake before the crash.
Then wakati na overtake on the other side, kuna lori imesimama kwa barabara na imesimama taa. So wakati driver wa hiyo lori imesimama ndio anakuja kugongana na bus, akamulikia hizo ma full lights. Sasa wakati amemshtua na full lights, almost alikuwa amefika karibu na yeye. So ikabidi driver wa bus aipeshe the far right, ndio isikike an head on collision. So ile kuepesha alingangana mpaka katoa kichwa, basi ikaepa kabisa, but ilianza kucrash kuanzia kwa ile mlango ya abiria ukirudi nyuma. So kuanzia kwa hiyo mlango ya abiria mpaka kwa nyuma ya basi ili crash hizo maviti zote, whereby watu wenye walikuwa hiyo side ndio walikuwa affected sana.
15 people who sustained serious injuries are receiving treatment at Garissa Referral Hospital.
Among them, 8 are male. We have 4 female patients and 3 children. So far, they have been treated and they're in stable condition.
2 more people succumbed while receiving treatment at the same hospital.
13 bodies in the compound now from the same accident. Among them, there were 2 ladies and a child.
The number of road crash victims this year has likely surpassed those who died in 2018. Nur Abdulaziz, NTV.
And our deepest condolences to the families of those who've lost their loved ones in that road crash, and a quick recovery to those in hospital receiving treatment. Now, 31 million Kenyans have registered for their Huduma number since the exercise started on April 2nd. As the May 18th mass registration deadline draws closer, the Interministerial Committee overseeing the exercise says they hope to reach the 40 million target by the end of the week. Kenyans in the diaspora have until the 20th of June to register in the 54 missions around the world.
I need to emphasize that this is mass registration, which is ending on Saturday 18th. So after that, because the KIMS kids are going to be with the assistant chief, if for some reason someone misses out, they may go to the assistant chief, but I'm very afraid myself that the assistant chief is going to, because now this is the focus. After that, there are many other things that the assistant chief will focus on. So you'll have to go and look for the assistant chief at some point, figure out whether he has enough time to deal with you at that time. But every Kenyan should be advised to take advantage of the mass registration period right now.
We already have systems and laws in place that take care of citizens' data. We're already taking care of your passport. We're already taking care of your ID. We have all this information, and it's not freely available to people. So Kenyans should rest assured that your data is safe with the government. We have added, in terms of the privacy and data protection, we're adding such that even private sector and others who hold citizen data that is personally identifiable, we're putting laws so that they can be able to manage this data in a way that protects your privacy.
While Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha says the 160 teachers who were interdicted by the Teacher Service Commission will have to solve their issues with their employer as it is out of his area of jurisdiction. The teachers were suspended on allegations that they disrupted the competence-based curriculum training that was conducted in April countrywide. Magoha was speaking during the launch of the Teacher Service Commission 2019-2023 strategic plan that is geared towards transforming the teaching service. The strategic plan will cost 114 billion shillings and will be implemented over a period of 5 years. A larger share of the money will be channeled towards the recruitment of teachers.
If I, as Magoha, son of Magoha, breaks the law will come for me. So anybody, including our very revered and good teachers, anyone who breaks the law will have to be answerable. And this is what I kept saying. I'm being misquoted by everybody. I have no authority, and we respect each other so much with Dr. Macharia, that I would not go into her area and start giving directives there. That is not teamwork. Do you get the point? So the situation as regards the teachers who are interdicted, they remain interdicted. If there is intercession to be done, it will have to be done with the Teacher Service Commission, which is the responsible body. So I'm advising those people to go slow and go and plead with the organ to plead with is the Teacher Service Commission. It's not the minister. Because the minister would want to even put them for a much serious offense than what they did.
We also established a teacher professional development TPD framework to enhance professionalism in the service. We had the training of over 150,000 teachers on ICT integration and transition to the CBC. There has been the development and rollout of the policy on identification and deployment of institutional administrators and teacher career progression guidelines.
All right, let's now just cross over back to the Senate, where the Migori Governor Okoth Obado is currently appearing before the Senate Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Let's just listen in to what is happening.
And maybe you didn't have firefighters. Senator Matangi asked that question, you're going to respond. So 4 or 5 years down the line, Migori County, the county executive, the officers next to the governor's office, fire breaks out and no single fire engine checks in. You wonder what would happen if the market was to catch fire, because now this is a seat of government. But even after the first fire has gone off, 2 hours later, another building catches fire and is burnt to the ground. This is the kind of things that can make a movie on Netflix if it was not as serious as it is. Now, Governor, considering the issues that have been raised by all my colleagues, may you respond? There was a small bit of Senator Ledamo Lekina's query that was not responded to. That schedule that he had referred us to, I was wondering why it was blank. I hope that that will also be addressed. So please respond to the issues raised by the senators.
Okay, Chair. I'll allow my CEO to also respond. But I also wanted to correct something that I had mentioned earlier about reconstruction. Actually, I mentioned a voucher. We cannot reconstruct a voucher. But I said that from the records held by our suppliers, we could get some information. Now, Mheshimiwa Senator Ngeri, the fire happened only once, but there were 2 fires. One happened, then 2 hours later. It is not that one happened and then some months or some days later. It was the same night. As at now, we are in the process of procuring a firefighting equipment. It is not our fault that we have never had one, because we have made several attempts. Each time somebody gets an award to bring, they come back to us, they want to be paid in advance, and that is contrary to the law. So I just wanted to clarify that we should not be blamed as to why we do not have a fire engine. On that particular night,
so you confirm that Migori County does not have a single functional fire engine?
For the county, no, but in Migori County we have a firefighting engine in Sony, and even that particular night it was called.
But for the county government, none, for the reasons that you have given?
For the reasons that I've just mentioned, we don't have our own.
There you have it, Migori Governor Kothol Bado answering two questions being posed by senators at the Senate Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the expenditure of the 2017-2018 financial year. Of course, we'll be getting more details from our reporter Kennedy Mureithi. But Nairobi Pathfinders Adventist Club, in association with NACADA, organized a drug awareness walk in Nairobi to sensitize the community and especially children in Nairobi and its environs on drugs, its forms, sources, abuse and consequences of abusing drugs. They held a medical camp in conjunction with the health ministries at the close of the walk at the Railways Training Institute. NAPAC comprises a group of children aged between 10 to 15 years and their teachers drawn from over 50 congregations of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Nairobi. The club has over 5,000 registered children. Drug and alcohol abuse have become rampant in Nairobi, especially among the youth.
We are in partnership with NACADA so that we are able to reach out to children this age, because they get it from small things as chewing gum, sweets. Drugs are readily even available in schools. And we have realized it's a problem. And if we look back and say we are just Christians, we're not preaching, we want to preach out from what we do, from action, and that's why we organize this walk today.
Well, Muslims in Kenya have been urged to embrace peace and love to all people, regardless of their faith. The Al-Azhar Graduates Association, that is part of the global institution based in Egypt, clarified that Islam is not a religion of hate, and those who kill or attack others claiming to do so in the name of the religion go against the faith.
The event held in Malindi was attended by over 500 Muslim faithful. The organizers, Egypt-based Al-Azhar Sharif Association, offers diverse learning programs from Islam, engineering, education, among others. According to the chairman Muhdar Ahmed Badawi, Al-Azhar has contributed to the training of thousands of people in the world and is in the forefront in advocating for love and unity globally.
Tumesisitiza watu wasome dini kwa njia iliyokuwa sahihi na wa practice dini kwa njia ambayo inatakiwa iwe sahihi ili waweze kufaulu katika maisha yao ya kiulimwengu na kesho mbele ya Mola Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
Currently, the association is in the process of setting up a Kenyan chapter to give a chance to students in the country. Badawi was accompanied by guests from Al-Azhar in Egypt who joined the Muslims from Malindi. Halima, NTV.
Well, police in Rongo have arrested a veterinary officer working with the Kisii County government after he assaulted her daughter, leaving her with serious injuries. It is alleged that the foster father ordered the minor, a Class 8 candidate at Kamondi Primary School in Rongo, to undress before he caned her. He later locked her up in a room for a week.
The young girl should be in school preparing for her final primary school year. She's instead nursing serious wounds at Rongo Sub-County Hospital. It is alleged that her foster father, who is a veterinary officer, tortured her and locked her up for a week. She was rescued by the children's department after a tip-off from the neighbors.
Vile tulienda kwa sitting room, ndio akaanza kusema nikamwomba msamaha. Akasema amenisamea lakini ananipea punishment ya viboko 100. Alafu nikasema sawa. Alafu akaambia mamangu atoe nishike meza na mamangu nimtolee hapo anataka kufanya kazi ya kunichapa.
Kwa sababu tumeongea na msichana akatuambia kwamba baada ya kupigwa na kukaa katika hiyo hali aliweza kufichwa katika chumba cha wageni kwa wiki moja mpaka ule wakati alikuwa anatoa uvundo.
The girl claims that her foster father ordered her to undress before caning her.
Vile tulieka akaniambia nitoe nguo zote kabisa. Nikamwambia mimi siwezi toa nguo. Mamangu akaniambia nisitoe hizo nguo. Nikatae. Alafu akanishika kwa nguvu. Vile alinishika nikatoa. Alafu akanishika tena kwa shingo sana ninyonga.
The said father who is accused was arrested and he was arraigned to Rongo law court today, charged with that offense of assault causing actual bodily harm.
According to the Children's Department, women should not sacrifice their children to save marriage. The Children's Department says that such cases have become common in Rongo, Awendo and Ureri.
Mtoto amesema baba ni baba wa kambo, lakini mtoto pia amesema hii si mara ya kwanza. Dada zake na ndugu zake wamepigwa mpaka wametoroka. Kwa hivyo inaonekana ni kitu baba amezoea. Kwa hivyo wacha serikali ichukue hatua. Wamama wasiokoe ndoa na mtoto aumie. Afadhali mtoto asaidiwe, hata wakuje waseme kuna shida kwa ndoa na mtoto ndio huyu anaumia.
Tumekuwa na vingi ambavyo tumekuwa tukishughulikia navyo, na hata kuna wengine ambao washafungwa. Tunapoongea hivi sasa kuna mama wengi, kuna wazee wamefungwa, na nataka kushukuru mahakama kwa sababu wakati wanapopelekwa mahakamani huwa wanashughulikiwa na wanafungwa kulingana na jinsi ambavyo unyama huo umetendeka.
Bernard Ojwang, NTV, Rongo in the county of Migori.
Harrowing, unspeakable actions then. We hope the law will take its course on this particular incident. Now, taking a look at other stories making headlines beyond our borders, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says the leadership of the ruling party, which is the African National Congress, has learnt its lesson and heard from South Africans following national elections in which the party won by the lowest margin ever. The NC won the presidential election with 57.5% of the votes at the national level.
Even though the African National Congress won the South African presidential election with the lowest margin in its history, the party still has staunch supporters.
It's like a victory for all South Africans. It's like ANC will do a better change this time. I believe in ANC. I believe in Cyril Ramaphosa.
I don't believe in another party. Even I sleep, I dream only about ANC.
President Cyril Ramaphosa took to the streets of Johannesburg to celebrate ANC's victory.
This is a new era, comrades. We are going to do things differently. We are going to do things effectively. We are going to make sure that we inject growth in our economy. We are going to make sure that we invite investors to come and invest.
All right, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports, and Ida Waringa is ready to do that.
The Shindana Stars promotion, a grand prize of Kenya shillings 1 million to be won.
Town in Elgeyo Marakwet County has been elevated by the International Association of Athletics Federations IAAF to the status of Global Heritage Location. Iten, sometimes referred to as the spiritual home of running, has produced an endless line of global distance running champions. IAAF's president, Lord Sebastian Coe, handed the Rift Valley town the IAAF Heritage Plaque, which celebrates towns or locations important to global athletics history. More on this on our 9 p.m. bulletin. Now, where world number one Novak And to some tennis now, where world number one Novak Djokovic beat Stefano Tsitsipas 6-3, 6-4 to claim a third Madrid Open title. The Greek eighth seed rarely threatened to reproduce the stunning display he had conjured up on Saturday when he knocked out Oit Tanak won the inaugural Rally of Chile for Toyota, with France's reigning world champion Sebastian Ogier retaking the overall championship lead for Citroën. Belgian Thierry Neuville, the previous leader after the 5 rounds of the World Rally Championship, wrecked his Hyundai in a huge crash and was unable to continue on the final day. Tanak, who now has 2 wins for the season, soul rest in eternal peace. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. Of course, we're keeping an eye on for you on all the stories that are making headlines across the country and beyond. We'll be bringing you more details of the same in our subsequent bulletins. You want to stay tuned. My name is Zainab Ismail. Good afternoon.